Human beings are by nature goal-oriented. We eat and drink to nourish our health. We drive our car to go to the shops or to go to the cafe. We work to earn an income. We marry to share a common permanent life and beget children. But not all goals are equal. Free will enables us to rank our goals according to their perceived importance. If two goals come into competition with one another, the lesser goal, we decide, gives way to the higher goal. And so a man may sleep so that he can rest, but when his child cries in the night, he rises from sleep to tend the child. Our rational intellect and free will enable us to determine and choose our goals according to their importance. If each human action has a goal, and these various goals can be ordered according to their importance, then we can also say that the human person itself has some final goal which is of highest importance, and towards which all our lesser goods are ordered. The ancient Greek philosophers believed that the highest goal of human life was happiness. St. Thomas Aquinas agrees that there is an ultimate goal for human life, but he suggests that happiness is the effect of acquiring this goal, rather than the goal itself. In his seminal work, the Summa Theologiae, he insists, man must of necessity desire all, whatsoever he desires, for the last end. That is, all our desires, all our goals, all our plans are fulfilled and oriented towards and realized in our final goal, our highest goal. And the last end of man and of all other things is God. Happiness is the acquisition of the last end, in this case, attaining God. The Catechism puts it this way: the desire for God is written in the human heart because man is created by God and for God, and God never ceases to draw man to himself. Only in God will he find the happiness for which he is constantly searching. The ultimate end and final goal of our life is God himself. And it is attaining this goal in which we find the happiness that our hearts desire. The parable of the wise and foolish bridegrooms highlights the importance of ordering every moment and action of our life toward our final goal, meeting God himself. In ancient Israelite weddings, the groom would go to fetch his bride from her father's house and then take her back to his own home. And so the bridal party would wait eagerly for their return, which could take several hours or even several days, depending on how far apart they were. In the parable, 5 bridesmaids prepare thoroughly for the bridegroom's arrival. They order every moment and action of their life towards their ultimate goal, meeting the bridegroom. And when they meet the bridegroom and are found ready, they experience profound happiness. As Jesus puts it, when the bridegroom arrived, those who were ready went in with him to the wedding hall. The other 5 bridesmaids were unprepared for the bridegroom's arrival. We're not told why the 5 foolish bridesmaids chose not to bring extra oil, but I think we can surmise that some other goal must have seemed more important to them in the moment. Perhaps they wanted to save money. Perhaps they assumed that the bridegroom wouldn't take so long that they would need the extra oil. Perhaps they wanted some extra sleep. Perhaps they were just lazy. Whatever the reason, they do not act for their goal, and so they do not attain their goal, which results in profound misery. The bridegroom denounces them with those icy words, "I tell you solemnly, I do not know you." In a sense, eternity will not be a surprise, because eternity will be absolutely consistent with the life we are living now. The foolish bridesmaids loved their own whims more than the bridegroom, and so they were shut out the wedding banquet. The wise bridesmaids loved the bridegroom ahead of their own fleeting whims, and so they are always ready to enter the wedding banquet. If our goals are about ourselves, our own pleasures, our own comfort, then we receive ourselves in eternity. This is what we call hell, and it is profoundly miserable. If your goal is God, and you order your life according to His desires, His loves, His thinking, His law, then you receive God in eternity. This is what we call heaven, and it is filled with profound happiness. Heaven and hell are real, whether we are aiming for them or not. Our indifference doesn't make them any less real or less final, since indifference itself is a choice. The goals for which we act in this life will be our reward in eternity. God doesn't expect us to know how to reach our eternal goal unaided. It's not like He says, aim for the destination, but I'm not going to, have a good guess. Good luck. He gives us His law to guide us to our final goal. He gives us the roadmap. God's law is like a spiritual GPS, Google Maps. It guides us to our eternal destination for which we are made and in which we find our greatest happiness. This law is unchanging. It was first given to the people of Israel as the Ten Commandments on Mount Sinai. It is fully realized in the person of Jesus Christ, who calls us to follow Him. Mother Church continues to hand on and explain God's law in every age. As an unfailing and unchanging guide for our actions in our life, God's law is true wisdom. The first reading explains that the wisdom of God's law is bright and does not grow dim. By those who love her, she is readily seen and found by those who look for her. Even to think about her is understanding fully grown. Be on alert for her, and anxiety will quickly leave you. She herself walks about looking for those who are worthy of her, and graciously shows herself to them as they go, in every thought of theirs coming to meet them. God's law can be demanding and countercultural, but it is also the sure and wise guide to the ultimate goal of our lives and the source of lasting happiness, God Himself.